Watch out. Oh, man, we got some good legislation going on in Pennsylvania because a Pennsylvania state senator says that a medical marijuana card is no proof of DUI and that laws should change. Oh, yes. This fall, Pennsylvania lawmakers are expected to address a medical marijuana issue that has lingered since the program was enacted back in 2016. As KDKA political editor John Delano explains, it's whether anyone with a medical marijuana card is automatically guilty of a DUI when driving. That's right. More than 500,000 Pennsylvanians have a medical marijuana card, and most of them drive. But does that card make them an impaired driver while on the road? In a quote, a glitch in Pennsylvania's DUI laws allows Pennsylvanians who are legitimately using a state-approved medication to be prosecuted to conviction regardless of whether or not they were impaired by that, says attorney Patrick Nightingale, who represents the cannabis users. Because of the state zero tolerance rule for driving under any federal Schedule 1 drug, which cannabis is, police have charged drivers with a DUI just for showing them their state medical marijuana card, says Nightingale. That used to happen out here in California, by the way. In a quote, with Pennsylvania's zero tolerance statute, every single medical marijuana patient is DUI 24/7, 365, regardless of whether they are impaired, he notes. In another quote, he says, my bill says you must prove impairment in order to be given a DUI, says Pennsylvania Senator Camera Bartolotta. Washington County, get ready for this, Rico. That's right. He is a Republican. That's right, guys. Look at that. Republicans putting in some good legislation. Bartolotta has reintroduced her bill, Senate Bill 363, to remove the assumption that every medical marijuana user is an impaired driver, and she expects the Senate's action on it soon. Delano asks, can someone who is on medical marijuana be an impaired driver? Bartolotta says, absolutely. Someone who is taking medical cannabis absolutely can be impaired, but not all are. Unlike the blood alcohol test for drunk driving, Bartolotta says that researchers are working on but have no definitive test yet to prove what level of THC or other elements of marijuana actually impair driving. Because of the state zero tolerance rule for driving with any federal Schedule 1 drug, which cannabis is, police have charged drivers with DUIs for just showing them their state medical marijuana card, Nightingale says. With Pennsylvania's zero statute, every single medical marijuana patient is DUI. And that leaves it up to the standard field sobriety test and police observation to determine impairment, says Nightingale, like the walk and turn, finger on the nose, the horizontal gaze nystagmus, and make additional observations that an officer can, in their professional opinion, associate with being impaired. And word on the streets is that also includes you having a green tongue. But just having a medical marijuana card would no longer be automatic proof that you're driving under the influence, says Nightingale. He says, I would submit that law enforcement is very well equipped to detect either alcohol or drug impaired drivers. And Bartolotta and Nightingale say you are not obligated to tell a police officer that you are a medical cannabis patient or are required to show them your medical marijuana card. And they both say to keep that card away from your driver's license that you must show. So basically what they're saying is if you are a Pennsylvania patient, make sure that your cannabis card is not anywhere near your wallet and is not in clear and plain view when you open up your wallet to pull your driver's license out, because they can use that as probable cause to give you a DUI. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News Hour. What do y'all think about this? Pennsylvania DUIs. I think it's fantastic that they're introducing this legislation. And it's not surprising that they were using the card to give people DUIs, because they used to do that here in California when you would show them your doctor's recommendation and you were in a prohibitionist county, and they would automatically charge you with transporting on top of drug driving.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That just blows my mind. Just the possession of the card.
Well, yeah. I mean, in all fairness, I understand where they're coming from, because they're like, hey, that's probable cause that's probable that you have marijuana on you, or you have marijuana in your system since you have that card, because that card identifies you as using that substance. So I understand where they're looping their laws around, but I do think that it's a gross overreach of the justice system.
A gross overreach. Go ahead.
I used to live in Pennsylvania, and what I could tell you is that just outside of our local dispensary, they actually had a couple state boys, one unmarked and one marked, and they were just pulling people over, knowing that people just went to the dispensary, just bought something, probably popped it open to smell it. As soon as they pop it open and they break that seal, it's been opened in the car and you could smell it now, and they were just pulling people over left and right. Hey, shout out to Patrick Nightingale. He was actually my son's attorney when he got into a little bit of trouble.
Oh, look at that.
He's probably the best cannabis attorney in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So shout out to Patrick. He's just a wonderful guy.
Awesome. Look at that.
And I think the Pittsburgh director of NORML.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense right there for sure.
And he's also actually, I think he had a very key case, Jason, that involved whether or not the smell of cannabis was probable cause to search. And it was actually Patrick's case in Pennsylvania that I believed overturned the notion that just the smell of cannabis alone was probable cause to search the vehicle.
Which makes perfect sense of, if that was his case, of why he would be going after this next.
Natural progression.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the challenge here is that while it's great that we're moving away from ridiculous, it's not so great that we don't have a scientific-based standard around the difference between ingestation versus intoxication.
I disagree. I think there is a science-based test, and it's called common sense.
I would never want to rely upon the common sense of a trooper who'd worked 12 hours and who already had so many variables they had to sort of consider about whether they were going to give somebody a DUI or not. They have great guidance and guidelines when it comes to alcohol and some of these other intoxicants. And when it comes to cannabis, I just feel that once somebody has pulled someone over, they're a little invested in the outcome. And I just think that we've been really working on sort of a science-based rubric for what intoxicated driving is with cannabis for a long time, and the science still isn't in yet. And so it's challenging me. I still think that it disempowers the cannabis user to allow that to be discretionary on the part of the field officer.
Oh no, I still
That's absolutely correct. So what science tells us again is that we have to be able to correlate some of these detectable metabolites to impairment. And until that's done in a statistically significant swath of the population of users, this is just all spin and bullshit. Any breathalyzer thing, anything where they're detecting something, they have to correlate that directly to impairment. And as our previous speaker just said, yes, that's known for alcohol. It's not known for cannabis. And until that's known for cannabis, this is just all bullshit.
Mm-hmm. I just don't believe in drug driving. I believe that you'd probably fall asleep at the wheel before you were actually drug driving when it comes to cannabis. That's just how I look at it.
When do you believe in the law, and when do you not believe in the law, Jason?
I always believe in the law. The law is real. So what I don't understand your question.
Does law really promote order?
Law is order. Law and order. They had a whole TV show all about it.
What comes first?
Law, then the order. We need that little soundbite. The dun 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 dun. Yeah. Dun. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Stone? I mean, you live out in Texas, and you know there's a lot of little rural prohibitionist police out there that love to use DUI as a cause for arrest.
Definitely, but I'll tell you, Texas doesn't have an actual medical card, so there's no card for him to see to make that connection. So it's all going to be on smell and common sense, really, you know.
And since you guys,
I can't believe that it's possible to give somebody a DUI just for being a medical cannabis patient.
Yeah,
that just blows my mind. Just as much as not being able to be a gun owner if you're a cannabis patient, because some of the reasons that are qualifying reasons to get a cannabis recommendation, those same people that aren't using cannabis can own guns. So just because I choose to treat my whatever ailment with a natural plant medicine, I can't own a gun, or I'm going to get a DUI. That's excuse my language, fucking ridiculous.
It's because if you're using cannabis stone, you're a degenerate. That's why.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, but you know what? It's how much poetic justice will it be when all these charges against Hunter Biden get dropped because
of Joe Biden's
because of gun
corrupt
laws,
state,
because of
corrupt
conservative
Justice
court.
Department.
Conservative Supreme Court loosening gun laws, and that's why you can't convict Hunter Biden.
I mean, all they got to do is convict him of having cocaine in the White House, because we know that straw has his DNA on it.
That's Don Jr., bro. Come on.
No, that is not. It's not left over from before, bro. Stop the
Don
madness.
Jr., Kimberly Guilfoyle, and Hunter Biden was having a party in the hot tub.
Oh God!
Called him a couple gals.
Oh boy!
And Joe
oh,
Biden
boy.
was asleep in the same room.
And they were all looking at a magic mirror, huh?